Welcome to the United States. Keyword, states. And there are 50 of them. Each has their own culture, history, sometimes even dialect. If you are a state, then you have a flag, and as a channel about geography, that's all I care about. But too few Americans know the history and meaning behind those flags, even the story behind their own home state. So that's why I thought it's time for a little overview on the meaning of the U.S. state flags. First off is Alabama. The flag of Alabama has a crimson St. Andrew's cross atop a white background. This was adopted in 1895 and is based off of the battle flag of the 60th Alabama Infantry Regiment of the Confederate Army. Hint, most southern flags are based off the Confederates. Alaska. Alaska's flag was actually adopted more than 30 years before it officially became a state. Designed by an Alaskan native and orphan Benson, the flag has a dark blue background symbolizing the sky, with 8 gold stars. 7 in the shape of the Big Dipper, a part of the Ursa Major constellation, which means Great Bear, and an 8th on the corner symbolizing the future for Alaska. Arizona. The flag of Arizona was designed by a captain of the National Guard, who realized while training with other states, Arizona didn't have a symbol, so he made one himself. This design was then passed down and reworked when statehood finally came. The flag is split in 2. The top half has 13 red and gold rays of the sun, in reference to the original 13 colonies. The colors in honor of the Spanish conquistadors, even though those colors were never actually flown by them. The star symbolizes copper, a major resource, and the blue is a reference to the Colorado River. Arkansas. The flag of Arkansas was designed in 1912 because they needed a flag to fly on the USS Arkansas, and there was none. The flag consists of a diamond, symbolizing the only diamond resource in the US at the time, with 28 stars around the border, as in the 28th state. The original design had 3 stars in the middle of the diamond. Their meaning is still debated. The committee for the flag, as committees do, just had to make changes, and added the word Arkansas, just so you don't forget. In 1923, a 4th star was added to pay homage to the Confederates, and that design is still around today. California. The bear flag is in reference to the 1846 Bear Flag Revolt. The bear itself is actually extinct. It's from a species called the Californian grizzly bear, which died off in 1924. The red symbolizes courage, and the white purity. The star symbolizes Texas. At the time, Texas was another Lone Star state that was enemies with Mexico. They saw themselves as brothers. Oh, how times change. Colorado. Although the state itself is a century old, the flag of Colorado was adopted in 1964. The C, I'll let you guess what that means, is a red color for the earth. The golden disc symbolizes the sun, and the blue for the sky. The white stripe in the middle is for the snowy mountains. Connecticut. The flag of Connecticut is actually not the state seal atop a blue banner. I wanted to rant about this infuriating trend across too many states, but guess I'll have to wait. While it does include a bit of a seal, it's atop a white shield. The 3 grapevines reference to the original 3 oldest settlements. Grapevines symbolizing growth. The motto, "He who transplanted still remains," flies underneath the shield. Delaware. Although Delaware is the oldest state, its flag is barely a century old, and its flag even has the state's date of founding across the bottom, its seal in the center with a diamond surrounding it. The colors are in reference to the uniform of George Washington. Florida. History lesson. Florida had been under the control of the Spanish until 1822, when Spain just didn't want it anymore and ceded the territory to the US. Florida didn't have a flag until the Civil War. After the war, the state was simply the seal with a white background. By 1900, it was apparent this looked too similar to a surrender flag, and so it was changed to a crimson St. Andrew's cross. This time not in reference to the Confederates, but to the Cross of Burgundy from Spain. Georgia. Georgia is that state that can't seem to pick what outfit to wear. Since the Civil War, it has changed its flag over 7 times. Twice since the year 2000 alone. Before 1879, it didn't have a flag, but eventually it did change, and its new banner was to memorialize the Confederate soldier. The 3 stripes, red and white, in reference to the original flag. Keep in mind the first official Confederate States flag was never this, but this. And the Georgian flag kept this general design for a few decades, changing it occasionally like a new layer of paint, putting on new seals and stuff like that. In 1956, the stripes were replaced by the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia. I wonder why. This flag stuck around until 2001, while keeping it eventually became too controversial. Those who disliked this flag actually opted to fly the pre-1956 flag, which was still a reference to the Confederates. In a hurried attempt to get a new design, a new flag was chosen, which was, God. After 2 brief years, this flag was dropped by popular referendum with the current flag, now with just a slight resemblance to the original CSA flag. Hawaii. Hawaii is the only state in the US which includes the Union Jack. For now, the reason for this is for a brief moment in Hawaiian history, it was associated with the British Empire. Its flag shares the similar style to the US, and it has 8 red, white, and blue stripes for the 8 main islands of the archipelago. Idaho. Okay, now I can finally talk about something that has infuriated me as a fan of vexillology, study of flags, more than anything else. There are 50 states in the Union. 24 of those states have flags that are nothing more than the state seal, which look like these, over top a blue, green, or basic color background. Washington's seal only includes the face of George Washington. The state which has the nature of this, a distinct culture of its own, has a flag that looks like this. Flags are symbols. They represent our history and heritage, a summary of who we are. Putting a seal on a solid background for a state flag is the vexillology equivalent of microwaving a Hot Pocket for a romantic dinner. If a state's flag can't even be differentiated from afar or up close, then that's just wasteful. For example, what flags are these states from? New York and Michigan, 2 entirely different places. From an outside view, they could be neighbors. Without the names of the states either plastered on or included in the seal, we couldn't even tell half of them apart. Idaho is one of these states. And so I'm not going to waste my time or yours saying the state seal with a solid blue, green, or white banner over 20 times. So here are the states which have made it onto Cody's list of shame. Indiana. Indiana's flag consists of a gold torch symbolizing liberty, surrounded by 19 stars, as in the 19th state in the Union, with the word Indiana included for good measure. Iowa. Iowa's flag of red, white, and blue is homage to the French tricolor. Iowa was once a part of the Louisiana Territory, ruled by France. A bald eagle flies near the top, holding the banner of the state motto, "Our liberties we prize, and our rights we will maintain." This eagle is directly from the state seal, but at least it isn't the whole seal. So, thanks Iowa. Maryland. Without knowing, you would think that the flag of Maryland is more from Europe or the Middle Ages than something from the United States. The black and gold is from the personal banner of George Calvert, 1st Baron of Baltimore. Calvert was an English statesman who had converted to Catholicism under James I. Instead of being shunned from politics, his relationship with the king granted him the title of Baron. Calvert was fascinated with the New World and imagined a colony where Protestants and Catholics lived in peace. His plans were put into place, and after his death, the colony of Maryland was founded. For years, it was a refuge for discriminated Catholics from the British homeland. The cross is directly from the coat of arms for his family. Fun fact, if Maryland had actually seceded during the Civil War, this probably would have been its Confederate flag. Mississippi. Mississippi has the only flag in the Union to include the Virginian battle flag. For now, the red, white, and blue stripes are in reference to the original CSA flag. Another fun fact, Mississippi had a referendum in 2001, where its flag could have been changed to this. The outer 13 stars symbolizing the colonies, the middle stars the nations which included Mississippi, and the final star for, you guessed it, Texas. No, I'm just kidding, it's Mississippi. Missouri. The flag of Missouri includes its state seal. However, it does have 3 stripes, red, white, and blue, in reference to its French heritage, just like Iowa. Nevada, or Nevada, I'm not gonna. The flag of Nevada, or Nevada, is a blue banner. In the corner is an entirely unique symbol. The words Battleborn, in reference to the state's birth during the Civil War, are above a silver star. Silver and gold were what made Nevada famous, even being referenced in a very low-key way in the original flag. Sagebrush, the official state flower, underneath the star. New Mexico. New Mexico's flag features the red sun of the Zia, a native people closely related to the Pueblos. The colors red and gold are in homage to the colors of Spain. North Carolina. North Carolina has a blue field on the left, with a red and white stripe splitting down the middle. It has 2 dates, May 20th, 1775, the date the citizens of Mecklenburg County declared independence after the Battle of Lexington, and April 12, 1776, the date when the Halifax Resolves took place, the first steps taken to declare independence from Britain. North Dakota. North Dakota's flag was originally flown in the American-Philippine War, and its central eagle is in resemblance to the Great Seal of the United States. That's it. Ohio. Ohio never had a flag until 1902, almost a century after becoming a state. The reason why it took so long across the US for states to make flags was because it seemed like having a state flag was disrespectful to the Stars and Stripes, especially in Ohio. There was even a controversy when the flag of Cleveland was adopted. Yet times were changing and a state flag was needed for the 1901 Pan-American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. Yay! Ironically, this is where Ohioan President McKinley was shot and killed. But hey, we got a new flag. Ohio's new flag is particularly unique, not just for the states, but for any political entity. It's the only swallowtail pennant in the entire Union, and just one of the few non-square flags in the world. One question is, why? The Burgee, the official name, is based off of a military flag. This flag was flown from the Civil War until 1885 by the Ohioan U.S. Cavalry. While not exactly the same in design, the shape was inspired and seen as unique to the state. The circle symbolizes the O and a buckeye, the triangle blue for the hills and valleys, 13 stars on the left for the 13 colonies, and 4 on the right to symbolize it being the 17th state. The stripes actually mean something, representing the roads and waterways. Rhode Island. Rhode Island is the ocean state, so it's fitting that its flag would include an anchor. Its flag is a square with a gold outline, with the word hope spread across the banner. The 13 stars symbolizing, you guessed it, the crescent has always been a symbol for South Carolina, existing all the way back to the start of the American Revolution. The tree was added at the start of the Civil War in reference to the trees which blocked cannon fire in the defense of Sullivan's Island during the Revolutionary War. Tennessee. The 3 stars on the flag of Tennessee symbolize the 3 grand divisions of the state: the Riverside West, the Hilly Center, and the Appalachian East. All 3 brought together in a blue circle that stands for Tennessee. The blue stripe on the right basically is just to balance out the red of the flag. It doesn't mean anything. Texas. The Lone Star flag for the Lone Star State. This was the first national flag for Texas, and has been used ever since. Its design is pretty straightforward and simple. The red and white stripe are reference to the flag of the Fredonian Rebellion, the very first resistance against Mexico in Texas. The stripes symbolize the unity between the Anglo and Native rebels, white and red. The single star itself is a symbol for Texan solidarity. Wyoming. The bison of Wyoming doesn't leave much to interpretation, as the state is home to large populations of bison. The red symbolizes blood of the pioneers and natives, while the white purity. The state seal, of course, just being the state seal.